Let's return now to the federal government shutdown and the failed attempts to reach a deal over funding border security. We start with the White House. Mercedes Schlapp is President Trump's Director for Strategic Communications. I spoke with her just a short time ago.
Well, at this point, as the president talked with these members and listened to the Democrats today in the congressional meeting, the president basically will not move forward unless there is some border security funding. It's very clear that he and his team sent over a good faith offer to the Democrats practically almost 1 or 2 weeks ago, and the Democrats refused to negotiate. So we want to get to a point that there's a negotiation at the table. It's why the president has said that he wants to reconvene a meeting on Friday with the Democrat and Republican leadership to help solve this problem and come to a conclusion.
Well, let's talk about the amount, because the number $5+ billion has certainly been thrown out. That's on the table. You yourself said in an interview last week the White House was looking for something between 1.5 and 5. Vice President Pence, in meeting on the Hill last week, apparently said, we're prepared to look at half of $5 billion. Is the president prepared to move below that $5 billion number?
Look, I think this is part of the negotiations, that we're not going to negotiate in public right now. We know that the vice president, as well as the president, presented an offer to the Democrats. The Democrats said no. Democrats are stuck on the $1.3 billion figure. That's obviously not going to be enough. In what they're proposing right now, there is absolutely nothing. There is no funding for the border wall, and we're talking about really physical barrier. And as we know, when it came out of committee, it was $1.6 billion that both Democrats and Republicans passed. And now they're saying 1.3, and now they're saying 0.
Well, let's talk about what it means by border security, because the president keeps saying it's a wall, but so many Republicans we talk to, even other administration officials, say what this really is security, electronics and other items, that it's not entirely a physical wall.
Well, this one in particular is the physical barrier. We're looking at steel slats, for example, as being one of the types of fencing that we're looking at. The president actually has tweeted out a photo about that, and actually it's a wall that we have built. The Democrats actually made an interesting point where they're like, we don't want a concrete wall. And we responded in saying it's not a concrete wall, it's steel slats, it's a physical barrier. We want to get to this point that there is this fencing that is provided there. As we know, this type of physical barrier works along the border, and that is what we're asking for in terms of the amount of money that we need to build the hundreds of miles left that we need to do for the wall.
So the president believes that this physical barrier is worth the disruption that this is causing. 800,000 government employees, people not getting their paychecks, government facilities staying closed.
Well, I think the president has made it very clear that he wants to see border security funding included. And what happened is that we came in with a good faith offer. The Democrats refused to negotiate. They're at this point, we want to be able for them to listen to the facts. Secretary Nielsen made a great point during the meeting where she said that we are, right now, it's not about a status quo situation. It is about a crisis situation, and we cannot accept status quo funding.
Let me just ask you 2 very quick questions about Syria. The president originally, a few weeks ago, said he wanted to pull out of Syria quickly. Now he's saying it could be 4 months. Which is it? And could he change his mind again?
We have to follow the lead of the Department of Defense. They're the ones that understand the operations and the logistics. As we know, the president has made a commitment back in the days of his campaign that he was going to bring our troops home. We have accomplished the work we needed to do in Syria, which was that of destroying the territorial caliphate. We did that. Now it's time to bring our troops home. And that is what the president promised, and that's what he has committed to do. And he is going to move towards a withdrawal from Syria. And of course, it's going to be led by, logistically, by the Department of Defense.
And we're told there are still 10,000 ISIS fighters in Syria, so the president believes they can be eliminated in 4 months?
Again, as we've discussed, it's not just the United States that has played a very important role there, but you also have Syria and Russia that are fighting ISIS. They don't want the ISIS terrorists in Syria, so that will be a continued fight, as does Turkey.
Mercedes Schlapp, so much to discuss on this Wednesday afternoon. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.